And we are live. Welcome everybody to VKH Live, special late night edition.
Super
Let me
late
just
night.
double check that the stream is up. Yep, it is up. All right, awesome. Yes, welcome. Welcome to VKH Live. I am your host, Jeff DeWitt. We're doing a very special late night edition of VKH Live. We have some very special guests here. I'd like to introduce Rubab, or welcome you back from Fake Star. Yeah. Oh, no worries. And she's joined with Cassandra, who is, I guess, technically with Fake Star right now, but is also one of our writers at VKH. You guys are live on the scene from Sakura-Con. How you guys doing?
Sakura-Con is beautiful, and Seattle's beautiful
and cold.
They're good.
Is it cold over there? I would imagine.
It's a little chilly. It's a little nippy. Yeah.
Awesome.
For me, but I'm from LA. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm in Florida. Anything under 65 degrees, I get like very, very uncomfortable. We're wimps down here.
45 right now.
Oh God, no, thank you.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Special guest Red Bull.
Laura from J-Rock Vault says with special guest Red Bull. Yes. So the topic of
just finished a very long day. We had the fashion show this morning at noon. It was at noon. And then we just finished the panel, which was a pretty late night. So we're
Yes. So, the topic for this stream is basically all things Mana, but it was especially because Mana is at Sakura-Con for promoting his fashion line Moi-même-Moitié, and so we're going to go ahead and jump into that. But this is kind of a stream for all things Mana. Winona's going to be joining us later, and we can get into the music there, for things like Moi d'Ismois and Malice Misère. I'm still learning the French.
Got it.
Yeah. So I tried to dress appropriately. I don't have any like gothic clothing, really. It's not really suitable for like hot weather here in Florida, but I did find this really tight, like black collared shirt that I had somewhere. And then
looking good.
I have a bracelet. It could go like that, or it could go like that, depending on the theme.
Nice.
Yeah. So, let's jump right into Moi-même-Moitié at Sakura-Con.
So, the first is the pronunciation. What's the correct pronunciation that the brand was using?
So I wonder what representatives who are out here with us have been saying Moi-même-Moitié. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can ask someone from France exactly how to say it, but
I think you say moitié for short. I guess would be the easiest thing. But yeah, I mean everyone's been pronouncing it differently, and it's hard. It's hard because we learn it from the Japanese pronouncing the French, and then we're like, what? So yeah, that part's a little confusing. But aside from all of that, the fashion show was pretty lit.
Yes, it was.
It was pretty lit. There's an amazing turnout for the fashion show, and people were screaming their heads off.
I think basically Mana's appearance as a guest was kept kind of secret, right? Like as a guest model. That wasn't announced.
It wasn't?
Was it? I don't think it was necessarily communicated. No one I knew was no one at the booth was looking forward to it or knew was going to happen.
It was,
and they definitely didn't know when it was going to happen. So it was well received. The whole thing was well received. It was really good.
Is that very abnormal for like the fashion show, like the actual, for like an artist? Do they usually self-model? Because I know Mempha did it for Pentagon, but I guess that wasn't his fashion line at Akon.
No, that was a specific, I really wanted to put one of our guests into the fashion show to make it kind of more, make it more exciting and try something new. And, Mempha looks really cute and everything. So I wanted to do that way. But this is a different experience because this is actually a brand produced by a musical artist. So it was, I thought it was pretty obvious that why not put him in the show? And
well, you can't count on something until you know what's going to happen. So it's still exciting. And at the same time, it's not unusual, especially for Moitié in this line. Up until very recently, the only model they really ever used is Mana. What is unusual is a fashion show. It's like the first time they've done it. Definitely the first time they've done it overseas.
I think it was the first time ever.
I think it might be the first time ever.
Yeah.
So that's what's different. They haven't had an opportunity for Mana to be on the catwalk like this because it's the first fashion show. And so, and to add to it for the experience, the music track was all instrumentals from What Is Moi. So, I mean, he's killing it on the catwalk to Exclude, which was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Get that going, the heavy music starts up. Yeah. So if you can envision that, anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you know, Moi-même-Moitié, Exclude all at the same time, it was really good.
Yeah. So there was we got a bunch of video footage, and we're gonna try to put something together to put on the internet later, so you guys can see. We also got some amazing photos of the different looks. It was about 12 looks with female models, and then Mana was like the last boss final model appearance, and it was really cool. It was an amazing show.
Awesome. So where are those videos going to be? On the Fake Star Facebook page?
Hopefully, yeah, we're gonna try to get that stuff up on either our Facebook and YouTube. It'll take some while because we have a bunch of shows coming up.
Sure.
So we're gonna try to get that out as soon as we can, especially the photos. So please stay tuned for those.
Okay. Yeah. Chat. I'm gonna go ahead and link you know, all of Fake Stars you know, social media and stuff. You make sure you follow them because they're very involved with the artists that, you know, they work with, and they have all kinds of cool little goodies that they share on Facebook and stuff. So definitely worth the follow. So about the music playing at the fashion show, I know, Cassandra, you told me earlier that one of them was the heavier song.
That's the boss song that she's talking about.
Oh, the boss song. Okay.
Exclude, right? We just exclude.
Exclude.
Leading up to it, a lot of the tracks that the models are walking to were some of the more like melodic and mellow songs. Like I know I heard Last Temptation in there. I heard Xanadu in there. Sacred Lake came on, and just when you finish that mellow, lovely piece, the lights go crazy and Exclude starts up, which is much heavier than any of those songs, and that's when you know something's coming. And that's something.
That's when he came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was fierce then.
It really was, and especially I don't know. I'm sitting out there and everyone starts screaming. I love that.
So I coordinated all of the show myself. So you know, I listened to all the tracks, and I was like, this has to be his track, like, because it's got that heavy guitars in it and stuff, and yeah, it was a complete change of pace from the other tracks. So that was his walk.
Oh wow, that's awesome! That's awesome, Bob. You coordinated it all yourself.
I'm a professional. That's what I do.
So you guys, Fake Star does it all. They do it all.
No, it's actually really unusual. Most of the designers I work with, I mean, they've started to give me a lot more freedom to do what I want musically, but some of the designers already have everything completely decided. But because this was Moitie's first time to do a fashion show, it was a lot of like, we figured out how we were going to do everything, and it turned out really great. So I'm really excited to get you guys get that video up very soon.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys have a tea party planned for tomorrow, right? Or I guess later on. For me, it's later on today, but I guess tomorrow for you guys, right?
Yeah. So the tea party is called Secret Rose Reunion. It was the title they picked for the tea party, and so there's some special stuff planned for that. There's a couple prizes that are going out. Everybody gets a novelty for attending. It's the brand's first overseas tea party as well. I believe they're doing one in May as well in Japan. So people were kind of like torn, like which one do I go to? Do I go to the one in America, or do I go to the one in Japan? So
yeah,
I think some people like actually are going to Japan just for this tea party. So
I mean, it's Mana, right?
It's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So can we get into some of the dress releases?
Of course.
Is that something we can talk about? Okay.
Go ahead.
So there's a, let's see. So there's a re-release, right, on the Moi-même-Moitié website, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me grab. What was the official name of that dress again? Are you reading there?
The one that was at the booth today.
I sent it to him. So they are. There is a new release that is coming out, but it actually is kind of a recreation of an old classic print, which is just a really good sign for everyone who's been following Moitié for years. Kind of noticed that it became less available and we were starting to have to look for secondhand clothing, but now it's being produced again. And not only is it being produced again, they're taking up old favorite designs, kind of tweaking them for current aesthetic, keeping a lot of it exactly the same and releasing it.
Oh, it's the Lace Cross JSK. Is that the one?
That is it.
Let me go ahead and screen share that while you talk.
Excellent. So I know that some of the particular highlights of what they've done that they're really excited about with this dress is just some small adjustments to the color to make it really pop and make sure that it's the best it can be. But they also have released it in a small size and a large size. So it's available for reservation on wonderwelt.jp starting today. And they have been taking a lot of polls on Facebook and trying to figure out what people want from Moitié. And one of the pieces of feedback was more sizes. And this is the first time we're seeing that. An old release, it's not only in a larger size, but with different ties in the back to make it more customizable. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. They talked a lot about the panel, right?
Exactly. So what's some of the panel stuff they said?
They also were talking about, like, a lot of stuff came up during the panel about where's the brand going to go now that it's been acquired by Wonderwelt, especially. So they were saying, like, this is from here on, they're really going to try to change how they've been doing things and bring the brand back to its former glory.
Yeah.
But also kind of like accommodate more for the American and overseas audiences in a way of sizing.
Not only, so actually, one of the representatives who's here is the same staff who handles Moitié's Facebook and communication in English. And anyone who has been speaking with them knows they're excellent. Their customer service has been phenomenal. And that's one reason it's more accessible now, is because it's just killer easy to get information from them and get what you need overseas. But they also were teasing, well, anyone, when they saw this happen, got kind of nervous. Is it changing? Is the brand changing? Is everything we love about it going to go away? Today, one of the questions someone asked is, what about some old classics? Like, I always wanted that classic Moitié bat bag. Everyone wants the bat bag. And they said, well, guess what? Looking for a manufacturer. We don't have it yet, but something like that's coming back. And the rumor erupted. Because everyone wants the Moitié bat bag.
Yeah, people were really excited to talk about that stuff. Like, yeah, they were just so thrilled. What was the other thing that came up during the panel? It was like, what's the cosmetics?
Like eyelashes?
Yeah, so a fan asked about if the brand was looking to collaborate or do some cosmetic releases, and they said they were kind of thinking about doing eyelashes, and everyone lost their marbles.
Apparently it's one of Manasama's goals. He's pushing for eyelashes himself, so. Yeah, so new things, like we've never seen that before, and all the old classics, and I couldn't be happier with what we heard.
That's awesome, guys. It sounds like a lot of fun. I think the other one I wanted to touch on was the triple crossover, it looks like, with Kamijo and Hatsune Miku.
Oh yeah, that one.
They brought the display. Sorry, yeah, no. Yesterday they had that dress actually out for display, which is awesome because currently it's still only on reservation. So they brought it out. You get to see that Hatsune Miku signature teal ribboning on it and all of the detail, which is even, I mean, as always, it's more detailed in person than you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And looked really, really wonderful. And it's exciting for fashion fans. It's exciting for people who maybe haven't been into this yet because it's got Hatsune Miku bringing things in. It's exciting for Visual K fans because we've got two Visual K greats, Manasama and Kamijo, working together on this project. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they talked about that a little bit at the panel too. That whole collaboration launched off a while ago, and now we have the dress and the singles out and everything pulled together. But it's great that they're bringing it for people to actually look at it, and it looked wonderful.
Awesome.
It's like people really want to see the construction of, especially people who are new to the brand. It definitely helps to be able to see it and touch it in person, and really get a feel for what the materials are like. Because there are, in the convention market especially, there's a lot of people who are still very new to Lolita, and it's kind of scary to buy something you've never seen online, only online. So it was really great to have a sample to display to really show people up close.
We're here at Sakura-Con, an anime convention, and I saw like a Hatsune Miku cosplay walk by, and I went and grabbed her. Like, come back to the booth. Did you see? Look at this dress. Isn't it amazing? So it really is You know,
Yeah, that's fun.
it's reaching out to a whole bunch of different people. It's fun to talk to about it.
Hey,
Hi.
the challengers appeared.
Hello. Look who's here. What's up, Winona?
She also matches the theme.
Just as planned, you know. I'm doing great, guys. Just
Yeah. This has really turned into a whole Mana party. But
We're having a party all day.
Yeah, for sure. So so outside of the tea party, is there anything else going on tomorrow for Mana and Moi-même-Moitié?
Well, so tomorrow we have another autograph session, and I think that's about it. Considering the booth is all of the products are pretty much gone. We got wiped out pretty much the first day of con, which is awesome. But it's also because there wasn't a lot of Moitié product. But Wonderful did bring a lot of secondhand Lolita fashion to sell as well, and that's gone too. So.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's curious, they were able to bring a lot of the stuff that they just recently started producing again. So we were able to see the keychains, we were able to see all those printed socks and types that they were able to bring over. And it did sell wonderfully well because everyone was very excited about it. But it's great that they're producing it and then they're bringing it. It's accessible.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like people in the chat really like Moi-même-Moitié. Man, I'm gonna have to practice that more. But
just still getting the hang of it.
Yeah, people in the chat really like it. So thanks for showing up, chat. I know it's late, but we had some scheduling stuff, and then we had to make it fit everyone's schedule, and then it turned out to work out awesome because we got to have Rubaba and Cassandra on to fill us in. Probably
we're still like simmering down from today. It was a very long day, but there's a lot of amazing stuff that happened that we really wanted to share with all you guys. So
yeah, for sure, I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and let you guys go if you need to. Just I know you guys have had like a crazy day, but thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
So please stay tuned for more. We're gonna have like photos and videos coming up on the Fake Star official stuff pretty soon. So.
Right. Yeah. And we'll be sharing it on, we'll be sharing your guys' stuff on VKH's pages and stuff too. So probably talk a little bit more.
One more thing to share is we're still in talks, but we're looking at bringing back Mana to another event in the US very soon. So we'll hopefully when things get finalized, we'll have that announcement coming out. So look forward to that.
Oh wow,
that sounds awesome.
Is that a VKH Live exclusive?
VKH exclusive.
Rob just dropped us our first exclusive, man.
We are in talks.
Exciting.
Yeah. No, awesome.
Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open.
Thanks, guys. See, chat. That's what happens when you're the dedicated ones. You get the good stuff, man. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, and best of luck. Make sure get all the Red Bull you need and all that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Stay awake.
That's
stay
actually
alive.
only my first Red Bull of the weekend.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Really? Wow. It's a whole Saturday. It's a whole Sunday right now. Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
If you're anything like me, it just means you have you've evolved a caffeine gland from the constant consumption. Just touch the side of your head and it kicks in.
Not good.
Yeah,
not good.
Probably not. Anyways, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Or it's an evolution of mankind.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, man. Good luck with the rest of the con. You guys got it.
All right, thanks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, moving on. Yeah. Laura in the chat says, I love how Rhubarb just sprinkles epic announcements everywhere. Yeah. That's great. That's great to know. Man, that makes me so happy. We got our first exclusive. We're coming up. We're coming up in the world, Winona.
We're on the come up. Oh my gosh. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, guys in the chat, or guys and girls in the chat, we're gonna move on to talking about hey Asuka. Asuka, scroll back a few seconds. You're gonna wanna. There's there's a pretty dope announcement about Mana that they just dropped on us. So, yeah. So everybody in the chat, let me know how familiar you guys are with like Malice Misère and Moi-même-Moitié. It's probably a rhetorical question, but give me a 1 if you guys are like, you know, big fans, know a lot of stuff. Give me a 2 if you're like more casual, not super into it. You know, and you know, we'll, depending on what people say, you know, maybe we'll cover this next part in one way or another. But I'm going to go ahead and let Winona kind of take the lead on this next part. We're just going to talk about all things related to Mana's musical projects. So that's Malice Misère, Moi-même-Moitié, and you know, anything else we can think of, anything else you guys want to talk about in the chat. Monophobia says, please have him come back. Yeah. Yeah, we will definitely. Yeah, we'll pass that message along.
What was the 1 to 10 again, Jeff?
Oh, it's just 1 and 2.
1 and 2. 1 if you do know him, 2 if you don't know that much.
Okay. Yeah, so we got a 1, got a 2, got a 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, all right. Winona, why don't you give like a general, I know this is quite the task I'm about to ask you, but a general summary of Mana's career, namely Malice Misère and Moi-même-Moitié. You know, pretty simple, straightforward.
Over the past like 30 years.
Yeah. But just go crazy with it, you know.
So, you know, Mana was in this one band that I can't remember the name of at first.
Was it
It was called Matin Row. Yeah, it was called Matin Row. And then I think he and Cozy were in that band together. And then that band disbanded. They made Malice Misère. Yuki was part of it. Tetsu was their first vocalist. Kami was their drummer at the time. Tetsu was the vocalist from 1992 to 1993. And then Tetsu left because everyone was like, wow, Tetsu can't sing. And then Gact ended up being the vocalist. Most popular era of Malice Misère at that point, from 1993 to like 1997, I want to say. Because in the last like 2 years, Klaha ended up being the vocalist until 2001. But right before Klaha became the vocalist, you know, obviously Gact left because there were some musical differences in the band. Kami unfortunately passed away in his sleep. And so Malice Misère took a huge turn, became super dark, super gothic. Klaha had the deepest voice of all of them. He ended up leaving the band. The band ended up going on indefinite hiatus, still on indefinite hiatus to this day. And Klaha went on to become a pop singer. Gact went on to become a pop singer. Tetsu's in his own band. I forgot the name of that band. Mana now has Moi-même-Moitié. And in 2002, he had... he started MIDI-Net. I forgot what year he started MIDI-Net, but in 2002 with MIDI-Net, he had Malice Misère under MIDI-Net. He had started Schwarzenstein in 2002 with Kaya and Hora under MIDI-Net, and now it's just Moi-même-Moitié under MIDI-Net, I think. And Yuki from Malice Misère has his own fashion line, his own jewelry line called Mother of Pearl, currently active. And I can't, it's too much, Jeff. I'm trying to think of all the really important stuff that's going on right now. Obviously, he has Moi-même-Moitié.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you freaking killed it, man.
I killed it in the generalizing all of it so far. Oh yeah, and Moi-même-Moitié has had 2 vocalists so far. Mana runs through vocalists so fast, I don't know how to explain it. He's too goth for some of these boys. Juka was the first vocalist of Moi-même-Moitié, and then Juka left around the time that Beyond the Gate was released, I think, and then Seth came in, and Seth is also known as the vocalist Z from Art Cube, and Art Cube is now disbanded. And Seth is still the vocalist. And Kay passed away, unfortunately, a couple years ago, so they got a new bassist. And now Moi-même-Moitié, they haven't released anything new recently. They're kind of like on that released...
the Western release cycle?
Western release cycle. That's what I want to call it. Yes, they're on the Western release cycle, and all my notes are in the air. That's why I'm looking in the sky. No, they're in the Western release cycle, and but they're killing it. You know, they've been Mata's been around long enough to do whatever he wants. Is all I can say, and people just respect him no matter what. So yeah. And Homeboy doesn't talk, so.
This is an aside, but I meant to say I appreciate the choice of makeup and lipstick for this. You know, due to the fact that it is a gothic band. You know,
it was a coincidence.
Yeah, just run with it. Just own it.
I didn't.
I made a weak attempt to do it, but like gothic clothing doesn't work well in Florida. I was telling this to Bob earlier, so I found it. This is a too tight for me H&M shirt, and
H&M shirt.
And then I have my one cross bracelet, and then this is like the closest thing I have to like anything.
Yeah, so. It's time to experiment with that undercut, my guy. No, I'm kidding.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong. It's just
join the herd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just gotta make sure. How do I say this? Make sure that is a convenient hairstyle for all aspects of my life. Maybe that's worded vaguely enough, but I would definitely like to in the near future.
Someone had named the band that Tetsu is in it. It is called Zigzo.
So,
yes.
Malice Misère and Moi-même-Moitié, they both have, from what I understand, multiple significant phases where they change style and sound. So, if we start with Malice Misère, what do you have a personal favorite era?
Ooh, that's always a hard one. I discovered Malice Misère from the Tetsu era. Like my first Malice Misère song was Baroque, and I was like, "Who are these guys?" Because I just like couldn't. I was shocked from how Tetsu sings, because it's not a traditional means of singing, but it's still one of my favorite songs to this day. I have to be honest, but Gackt is like has the most popular era. I'd have to say Clawha's era, though, is my favorite one. Gardenia is one of my favorite songs. Gardenia and Garnet are two of my most favorite songs from Malice Misère. So yeah, the Clawha era.
Okay. Yeah, very, very elegant songs. I guess they're all elegant, but that's that music video though for Gardenia. It's very striking.
Yeah.
What about Moi-même-Moitié?
I mean, there were like two eras. No, I'm kidding.
There's that.
Seth is my favorite vocalist for Moi-même-Moitié. And my favorite album from Moi-même-Moitié is, I think it's called Desaladu. That's
right, yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite album because there are just so many songs on that album that I absolutely enjoy listening to. Like, I can listen to that album straight through, no problem. All the albums I could listen to straight through, no problem. But I know I've listened to that album more often than the other ones. But my favorite single track from Moi-même-Moitié that's not on an album is Lamentfulness. And that should be on an album, but it's not. And I love that song. And Shadow's Temple. Really, Lamentfulness. If you don't know it, you should look it up. It's a great song. Okay.
Yeah, I will. We'll get into a little bit of that, a little bit of some interesting stuff in a second. I want to check the chat real quick because I saw some funny stuff in here. Laura from JR Vault says, my ring reminds her of early 2000s goth fashion. So
you always have that ring.
It's all I have. Everyone had the finger armor. So there's a story behind the ring, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with like South Florida and Southwest Florida, Southeast Florida, Miami area, like what the fashion is like there. But it's if you'll excuse my language, it's like, for guys at least, it's like douche culture. It's very generic, like nightclub shirts, and I don't think I have to like even like go into much detail to know exactly like that's the level of local fashion that's available to me. So anything that I order or anything that I want to dress, and I don't really like to dress like that, so anything that I order or pick out, it's like I'm doing a lot of like a lot of searching or ordering online and stuff. So when I went to cover the Gazette, I wanted to have like a good outfit for the concert, to kind of rep VKH, you know, as like the cool kid, the cool kids that we are, you know. And so that was when Winona, you had introduced me to Shola. And
for that concert, yes.
Yeah, and if you missed our special live stream on Sunday, I had Shola on here and interviewed him about tips to become an independent artist and an indie artist inspired by international visual K. So you should definitely check that out. But yeah, that was the first day we met. Was Winona internet introduced us like in chat, and then we met up. And
well, the plan was that I was supposed to meet up with you in the city, and then I was like, oh no, I have responsibilities. Hey, Shola, can you pick up Jeff and take care of him? And it ended up working out super well. So
yeah. So basically he showed me around Manhattan, like all the cool rock areas and the fashion areas and stuff like that, and helped me pick out some stuff. And this was like one of the few like accessories I could find that I was just like comfortable with. And so, you know, that's really where it comes from. But so it seems like, oh, okay, this would get old really quick, right? But down here, nobody's seen that ever. So it always sticks out. So I can just like wear it every other week. And it's just like, it's the most interesting thing on any guy in a bar. Oh God. I'm throwing my home state under the bus, but it does deserve it to a degree.
It's funny because like you go anywhere else, you're just a regular guy with a cool ring.
Oh, I'm sure it looks try hard anywhere else, you know, like in Manhattan where everybody was like, dude, the people that like we hung out with, like that, you know, he introduced me to and stuff, like their fashion was so intricate. Like, and I'm not around a lot of that alternative fashion in real life. So it's like, man, this is like a whole thing that I'm gonna learn. But it's for me, it's gonna be trial and error, and then like going out to places like that and, you know, taking notes from the pros and stuff. But yeah, it was a fun experience. So that was a fun little tangent. Manophobia says there's a store called Raven and Rockers in Tampa. It's an alt clothing store. Thanks, man. Or Monophobia, I'm not sure if you're a guy or a girl. I forget, but thank you. Monophobia. I don't want to misgender you. Thanks, fam. Yeah, thanks, fam. Yeah, I have family in Tampa, so I can definitely visit them or check it out when I visit them. And Laura says, on a scale of Marilyn Manson to Susie Sue, I give Jeff a solid 7.5. Yeah. So what's the other end of that spectrum? The Susie Sue? What's going on with what is that? I don't know what that is.
Susie Sue is a huge icon.
Okay.
All I can say. That's all I can say.
Okay, then I've just completely missed
it. Huge influencer. Yeah, you kind of just missed a lot. I don't know how to explain it to you, fam. But
I mean, my extent into my knowledge of like glam stuff really is limited to Visual K, unfortunately. But let's I'm just constantly disappointing Laura today, and we'll get into that right now because she's mad at me in the chat that I don't even know who Susie Sue is. Okay, so here's the thing: we're gonna tackle this Mana's music now from a little bit of an interesting perspective.
Well, everyone attacks you for
Yeah, so I'm going to highlight, basically this next section is going to highlight, you know, Winona's strongest points as like an expert on moi-même-moitié, and it's going to reveal some of my darkest shame.
Your weakest points.
My weakest points, which is that up until the last 24 hours, I was almost entirely unfamiliar.
No, I was trying to feed you things low-key for the past like few months, and you were like, I don't know. And then like
I just kept.
You're like, oh, guess what? Good news. I like moi-même-moitié. Also, good news. I like Malice-Misère.
Yeah. So I only recently like started listening to moi-même-moitié and Malice-Misère, and this is like after years of being in Visual K, and and covering it and everything like that. It is my weak spot, and so I have not been a good press boy in this area.
Jeff can't do Tom BK.
I've been a bad press boy.
He's not good at like old school Tom BK.
Yeah. Asuka says, I don't know for you guys, but H&M usually tends to have a few alt-S clothing, at least for women. Yeah, they have it for men too. The H&M is usually like my go-to, and it's just, you don't buy like the main stuff they have. You look. I actually got like these shiny black shoes that are alt-ish, I guess. They're alt for us down here but I got them for like $10, and they're
I think
like,
my entire outfit is from H&M right now, except for my shoes and my jacket. One I got from Disturbia, the other I got from Doll's Kill. Yeah. Oops.
There's a Buckle store up in like a little north of me, but Buckle, if you guys aren't familiar, is like, it's a little weird. It's a little hit and miss. Like it can kind of look like cool alt clothes with like a slightly more mainstream fashion style, but if you're not careful, you can end up picking stuff that also does look really like try hard. Like, it's not quite like Affliction levels, but you can, if you're not careful, you can look like a
let's get into that Thermana stuff.
Yeah, so okay, so I'll stop putting it off. So
just doesn't want to.
So I've only recently, so basically my whole thing is like, I've kind of been like and you'll know this if you've read like any of my reviews, or if you've like listened to me on the podcast and stuff. My forte has always been like the modern music, like basically Neo Visual K era on, second generation on. Actually, when I reviewed Lunacy's album, like their A Will album, that was actually the first time I had listened to Lunacy. So I had to review it as a new listener to Lunacy, which people thankfully seem to find interesting. But so I've been slowly working my way back, but it's been interesting for me because, when the stuff that I do cover, like I cover it very heavily, and you'll hear me like geek out every now and then and like identify like patterns and trends and stuff. So it's been really interesting, like looking at like these older artists, and it's like been like a puzzle piece fitting into place, being like, oh, this explains a lot, because I see exactly like who was influenced by it.
Jeff.
You really just want to jump in and shame me. I'm trying to make this a productive discussion.
No, here's the thing, Jeff. When I got into Visual K, I started way in the back. Like, I got into the bands that were older. I got into Malice Misere first. I got into Gact, Malice Misere, Hyde, and kind of X Japan all at the same time. And then, like, the pieces started to fit together. And Kaya. But then all the pieces fit together. I was like, oh my gosh, they're all connected. And I just, like, went crazy from there. And once you do that, you figure out all of the influences, and you automatically start to see the patterns, and then you can start to predict what might happen next in music along the way. So like, yeah, you're doing that like now with modern music, but you should have gotten into the old stuff first, my guy. You would have.
That's really cool, Winona. My one critique of your process.
Postmodernism in music, my guy. What's good?
That's cool. That's cool. But my one critique is that's a little selfish of you, because you spend a lot of time following bands that are not active anymore. And it's really important. It's really important as members of press to promote new bands in the scene. That's been my focus. But that's cool that you did that for yourself.
Jeff, I was 13. I wasn't attached to anybody. And plus, this is like a time where there was like no music available on iTunes.
Okay.
Admittedly, so it was like all YouTube and unofficial uploads at that time. But now we have an abundance. And now I can follow all the new bands because now they're all on YouTube.
Lucky.
Facebook
good.
Well,
that's
live
good.
In a
That's good now.
time.
That's good.
So
that's good
anyway,
just gonna knock you off that high horse.
It's time to throw Jeff in the fire.
No, it's not necessary. So let me ask the chat, because some of you guys, and I'll ask you as well, Winona. So the main thing I notice is that this stuff is, as like a first timer, and there's going to be a lot of people like this that, got in very recently and are first timers now. My initial impression is that like, this kind of music normally isn't my thing to begin with, but it is something that I can find myself enjoying. But even in that context, this stuff really stuck out to me because of how authentic it sounded. And,
Laura said, no, Jeff, you're the last one.
Shush, you guys.
This is the time where we flame you. Okay, that's what it is. Oh my gosh.
Are you done?
No.
Okay.
I won't be.
Do I need to mute you? Do I need to mute you?
It's tough love. I'll mute myself so I can laugh to myself.
Well, let me take advantage of a bad situation. Let me capitalize on my mistake, and because there are going to be a lot of people that are coming into it, and the reality of the situation is there are people like me that know Versailles, but they don't know Moi-même-Moitié, they don't know Malice-Misère, and for me, I started to when I was listening to those two bands specifically. There's just a level of authenticness with like the Gothic metal and the symphonic elements and stuff that kind of made me understand a lot of the, I guess, I don't want to say criticisms, but I've seen certain fans kind of feel more iffy on like bands like Versailles or probably especially Jupiter, like the more modern stuff.
Well, I mean, fun fact, Kamijo was a roadie for Malice-Misère, so
yeah,
that's where a lot of his influences come from too. Yeah, Jupiter, that's a whole other thing that was literally viewed as like Versailles 2.0 for the longest time. So I don't know what to say about that.
Right, but even with Versailles, like, there are high points where like, high points like, okay, this is fresh and new. This is pretty new, like compared to like the older stuff, like Masquerade and Ascended Master and stuff. I think that was where they're really shining because it does stand out a little bit from the more traditional symphonic metal, kind of sound. But when they were doing stuff like the easy, safe stuff, I guess, like Truth, like from their last album, like the safe stuff, that's where the criticism came in. And now that I'm listening to Moi-même-Moitié and Malice-Misère, I'm like, oh, well, this is like just written in that format, like, like the safe songs from bands like Versailles and Jupiter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I kind of I understand the criticism a little bit, a little bit more because with this context, because like the stuff that Moi-même-Moitié has is just very, it's just very fluid and organic for what it is. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, but I gotta say from just like from an outsider's perspective and just like being inundated in like the current scene and stuff like that. When you compare the newer bands that are inspired by like the symphonic stuff to the older bands, it just, or the more established bands, it seems just like there's, especially in that kind of music, there's been a big drop off in like I don't know what you want to call it, like ingenuity, like the innovativeness of it. Like at least that's my first initial impression. So I don't know if you feel that way in general about bands like, I don't know how like do you feel that way in general when you see a new symphonic metal band like popping up in the scene? Is that like a common slip up?
No,
or do they stick out enough on their own?
Not really. I think it's like right now, I'd say the newest symphonic metal band that there is would be Matin Rock, even though they don't think that they're symphonic metal right now. But they started out as a symphonic metal band, and they were different enough that they had established their own sound. Because I think what's happening right now is that there are a lot of symphonic metal bands, but they all have, like, there's a different level to how much metal is being used in each band. And Moi-même-Moitié is like the most metal of those bands.
Yeah, very true. Although Jupiter was getting a little ferocious towards the end.
Yeah, they started like mixing in like alt rock, and it was like, whoa, what's going on? And it started to get more metal, and it was like,
wow. So Asuka says we need more gothic and symphonic in addition to the core trend these days. I totally agree. I think the core thing's been done to death. It's ear candy for me at this point. So, which is like, I like ear candy, but it's not going to be anything special. Like Dogma was pretty special for me. With the Gazette, because that kind of kicked off a lot of it. But now it's like, it's the next electro rock. In terms of trends, actually that's another thing is Winona as a, because you're a very big Moi-même-Moitié fan. How was your assessment of like the Gazette's take on Gothic metal? like from looking at it from your background? Like, were you like a little about it initially? Or?
I was.
Yeah.
Like, while I appreciated it, it wasn't. Trying to compare the Gazette and Moi-même-Moitié are two very different things. That's not going to work at all. Like, on one hand, you have the Gazette trying to mix in like all the stuff they did in the past with Gothic metal and trying to like force those puzzle pieces together. On the other hand, you have Moi-même-Moitié that has a very established career. They've had this one core sound and have continuously found new ways to make it sound different, although it is actually the same. So you can always recognize who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it wasn't quite it with the Gazette, but I appreciated the effort and it turned out good. It wouldn't quite be Gothic metal at all to me. Like I wouldn't put it in that category, but like
it's more like a
worked.
Like an alt metal metalcore album.
Gothic metal.
Yeah, no, it's like an alt metal and metalcore album masquerading as a Gothic metal album.
Yeah, it's like undercover.
Well, because it's metal. I think the only one I would count as Gothic metal is the title track, Dogma.
Yeah,
but then there's other tracks that have Gothic sounds, so it's metal with Gothic in it, so it's technically Gothic metal. But
yeah, like Ominous did, Lucy did, but like
Ominous was like industrial metal basically, or like a throwback to like some of the 80s metal ballads and stuff. So
yeah, that's kind of where Gothic metal started though, so it didn't, so it like made sense for what they were doing. But
okay,
yeah, I don't know, man. I can't compare the two. I can't.
Now let's shift a little bit, because the Gazette, we know the Gazette, they do like kind of the sampler thing, you know. They sample something and it's interesting when they mix it, but it's like you said something about like with their R&B vocals on Stacked Rubbish, that it's like they were fine, it was cool that they mixed it, but it's like, yo, like you could always what did you say? You were like, do you realize how much better it sounded if they got a black woman to do R&B vocals?
Yeah,
you know, it's like
I don't know what they did, like I don't remember, but like it's fine that they did it. It sounded cool. It would just be better if they like maybe got a more authentic voice for it instead, you know, like yeah, it was cool to hear a rookie try to rap in English, but like, my guy, maybe if you just rapped in Japanese, or you got somebody else, I don't know, you just sang and got somebody else to rap, it would have been fine.
Yeah, basically. So the Gazette's kind of an example of a band that's kind of sampled the Gothic thing, and Asuka was just saying that, you know, she'd consider it more alternative than Gothic, really, and I agree. It was kind of just used as a theme more than anything. But let's shift to an artist that is leaning into Gothic metal and is a modern artist. How does David compare?
He's beautiful.
So he's doing it right.
He's doing it right. It's so right. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
So fresh. It's such a fresh take, though. Is all I can say.
Yeah, it's definitely it's fresh, man. I really like David. So.
Yeah, it's so new. It doesn't sound like anything I've ever really heard before, which is nice. I mean, it sounds familiar, but it sounds new, so it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting using like Moi-même-Moitié as like a baseline for all these, because I didn't have that before. So, but could you guys link us to David? Yes, absolutely. Let me pull up. He's on Spotify. And you know, we might as well just do this again, because it's always worth it. I will share the screen of, you know, the selling point of David, which is his amazing crab walk crouch.
That's what caught our attention the first time.
Yeah. Let me get that set up real quick. But yeah, I agree with the chat that, you know, the Gothic metal is pretty underrepresented, and if I'm being honest, symphonic metal is pretty underrepresented too. All things considered.
Said Misère is not French. They are not, but their fashion is just Han BK.
Wait, so what is Oh, well, Malice Misere is, what is that? It's the answer to the question, what is a human? And it's something like nothing but a combination of malice and misery is like what I read. Which is like, she's like, all right, that really sets the tone there, huh? Like kind of
I mean, if you listen to their music, you'd get it, like Illuminati, and like, what's another good one? Illuminati is a really good one. Beast of Blood is another good one to represent that. Mm-hmm. Basically anything like Mana and Cozy wrote, those are really good representations of that. Stuff Gact wrote was like Le Ciel, that's like not really representing that.
Yeah, Monophobia. Yeah, we're aware the misère is not French.
Oh yeah.
The emphasis I'm putting on it is just going off of the way that, you know, it's technically pronounced, which I guess it rhymes with geezer, misère. I guess I should stop putting the emphasis on the thing is it's a Japanese pronunciation. So
yeah, we're going based off of how like
off of half of half of an English word. So it's a mm-hmm. You know yeah. Anyway, so I just linked you guys the Spotify link for David, just so you guys know if you're not familiar, and this is related to Moi-même-Moitié, because if you like gothic metal like Moi-même-Moitié, you might be interested in this, because like Winona said, it is a fresh take on gothic metal, like a modern take. David is the current solo project of Sui from Mega Romania and Lynn, End of Corruption World. And this is his current project. He's signed to Chateau Agency, which is Kamijo's record label. And he's pretty damn phenomenal, as you'll see. Like, he really leans into the gothic metal aspect of it. He's got the he seems to have like that kind of like well-produced solo project sound figured out. Let me just pull up his look, because this is the other thing you need to know about him. But let's see. Laura's educating me on the Facebook chat about Susie Sue. I'm just learning so much today.
Jeff's not very well versed in the world of goth, so please educate him.
No, I'm
everyone.
Not. No, I'm not.
He got into the alternative side of Visual K, not the gothic side of Visual K, which is in an abundance. Obviously.
Okay, so how's that? Can you see that? Do I need to zoom in more?
I think you should just make him take up the whole screen. No, I'm kidding. I think it's yeah. There you go.
So there. I mean, if you, I don't know what else I need to say or show you to like.
He does that live. It's great,
and he does it live.
He does it live.
And it's just zero fucks given. I don't know what demon he's summoning, but it's.
I don't know where his influences came from.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Anyway. Yes, that's enough of a tangent. Sorry to deviate, but I will always take an opportunity to deviate towards David. He's up there with Kizu for us in terms of, we're big,
we deeply enjoy him.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to get into, and again, newbie question for Moi-même-Moitié.
It's okay.
What's the deal with their look being so retro still? Is that like a staple of their thing? Or
yeah, that's Mana's primary look. Honestly, it's his brand. That's his look. Define retro. What do you mean by retro exactly?
I guess
they have the same general look the whole time.
It's a combination of things, right? It's their look is like older. It's like an older style, but then the album covers I see and stuff like that, they look like more like 90s gothic album covers and stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Like the
with the fonts and the colors and stuff,
Well, it's gothic. I don't
it just
know
doesn't change.
It's just pure gothic. It just nothing ever changes really with the Moi-même-Moitié. Like their look, it evolves so far as like Mana might change his hair color. And like sometimes they change the color of the album cover itself, but like they don't, their look hasn't really made any drastic changes like any other visual K band. Like you never see like, oh, Moi-même-Moitié has a new look kind of post with like a new single or something like that, because they don't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, chat, help me out. I don't know really how to explain this very well. Mana's Mana. Mana's doing Mana. Mana also has to make all the costumes for his band, so
yeah, he's a very busy.
It also airs on the side of convenience.
Oh yeah, some about the symphonic and the gothic, you know, VK artists like Mana, Kamijo, Kaya. They're all like super busy, super independent. You know, isn't like Kamijo like constantly like he's constantly doing stuff, you know?
Yeah, Kamijo kind of has to, because he went solo and he's like, well, I went solo. I got to prove that I can do the solo thing.
Asuka says, I'm curious as to what David was thinking when he thought that was a good idea.
I wonder how Kamijo said, yeah, go for it, fam, when he did that.
I mean, he sold us on it. We're only 50% ironically liking it. The other part, I'm low-key into it. Like,
it's actually really cool. I would totally do that.
Yeah, it's better than like the typical like stand up straight and like have a cape. Like,
have the hand on your chest and look out into the distance.
Yeah. So what's the
deal with airline food?
Well, I was gonna say, what's the deal with the next Moi-même-Moitié release?
Ooh, that's a good question. They got a new bassist and they made a new song, but that was in memory of Kay. And I don't think we're going to see that officially released for a little while. Like I said, dude, they're on that Western cycle of releasing albums. They last released an album like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something like that. A few years ago, they released Reprise, which was really a self-cover album where Seth sings all of their songs, all their fan favorite songs again. And they had one new song on there. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see a new album anytime soon, my guy.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next year. Highly possible in the next, year, because it's been a little while. But they did release a new song, and they need more than 2 new songs to make a new album. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is good to just check in, and I definitely just wanted to make sure, because, it's one thing when a visual K band goes on a Western release cycle, but it's like sometimes you got to double check and make sure they didn't like go on hiatus behind your back, So let's see. Monophobia says Zaki did a similar pose to the David pose.
Really?
Oh man.
How?
I don't know.
Just with the whole new skirts. How? Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I guess so, and obviously we're not going to have like a release from Mouse Misère anytime soon. Right. So they're still on hiatus. Is there any hope for that ending?
It's been how many years? It's been 20 years now, Jeff.
It just means nothing to me.
The thing is you have to think of it this way. Malice Misère was as big as Dern Gray is now. They were huge in Japan. They were a pretty big deal. Not huge, but they were a big deal in the scene, a really big deal. And given all the turmoil they went through, I imagine they didn't want to disappoint their fans by saying, hey, we're disbanding. So they said, hey, we're going to go on an indefinite hiatus. And when they said indefinite hiatus, they meant it, because they keep having these anniversary shows every year. They're without a doubt, Mana hosts the Sanctuary every year. And I think, what is it? This year's supposed to be the 25th anniversary of Malice Misère. This year. God. There's going to be a show, and Kamijo's gonna sing, and Emiru is gonna sing, and unfortunately Gaz had passed away recently, so I don't know who they're gonna have as a drummer this time. because Gaz was their support drummer after Kami had passed away. So we'll have to see what happens, because it looks like they're bringing back all their roadies to be singers because they don't have a vocalist, obviously. And then now they don't have a drummer either, but we'll have to see what happens. They aren't coming back. I'm sorry. They're just not going to come back, but they're not going to disband.
Yeah, so now we've established that future's looking pretty uneventful for the Titans. Who are you counting on in terms of, and like list them out, like
continuing the legacy?
Yeah, like and like Gothic and symphonic, and you can talk about ones that it's like you're optimistic about and ones that you're pessimistic about, because both types have put out releases lately. So.
There's another type though. That's the thing, because there's a side of Gothic music that we haven't touched on, which is cozy. Cozy represented another part of Malice Miser, and that was the highly electronic, like 90s electronic Gothic music. And he still does it. Like, he's another part of like that retro looking stereotype that you were talking about, how Mana like represents like retro looking goth metal. Cozy is retro looking goth electronic music, and he has Ziz, and I don't think he does the solo anymore, but he has Ziz for sure. Ziz has been really active. I don't remember the name of his other projects, but yeah, he's still going. And so that's a third part that we need to talk about with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's goth metal, symphonic metal, right? And then electronic.
And then electronic, yeah.
Yeah, gothic dance music or whatever.
Yeah.
And
oh man, I just had a thought, because
that too.
I just had a thought when you were like trying to come up with how you just describe the look. You do realize there's going to be a day where you're going to interact with a Visual K fan, and they're going to be so new to the scene that if you show them Moi-même-Moitié or Malice Miser, they're going to ask you if it's a Starwave Records band. And I need to be there when that happens.
No, it's a MIDI net band.
I need to film it and put it up online as a VKH Breakdown exclusive.
MIDI net, and see, now my computer's gonna shake, because now I'm just like, wow, I don't know.
Shaking with rage.
No, not with rage, just with just speechless. MIDI net and Starwave are two different entities. That's all I can say on the matter.
No, yeah, obviously. Oscar went eek.
What does Winona say now? I respect both, but Malice Miser on Starwave? No. Moi-même-Moitié Starwave? No. They're MIDI net. Mana is his own man. Mana does Mana.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's more the inaccuracy of it than anything that would drive
Well, think of it this way. Moi-même-Moitié is Mana's solo project. If you look at all of the albums, it says it's Mana's solo project, which means he wants to be in control of all things. He has his own record label. He has his own fashion brand. His band is his solo project. So I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, it's very fleshed out for solo project too.
Yes, look at Kamisho's solo project.
Okay, so legacy of Gothic metal. Let's start it. Let's start with that. Moving forward, continuing the legacy.
Gosh,
who are the contenders? We got David. We got Moi-même-Moitié.
They're gonna stay as long as Mana's alive. David for sure. Who else? Who's a really gothic band right now? It's not really in vogue to be a goth band. Kizu's kind of bringing it. They're starting to turn that corner right now with Kizuato.
Maybe, yeah. It depends.
They're starting. I said they're starting to, maybe, but we'd have to see what happens to them in the future.
Yeah,
they're doing the red goth thing right now. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, I know. There's like a fork in the road. They can either go like the Duran Gray Western style
Yeah.
look, and then and sound, or they can go the more traditional Gothic sound, I guess.
Not really traditional, just a traditional goth metal sound, I guess. There's wow, who would? What's the name of that one band? The Veil Mysteria, every Starwave band, every Starwave band, right?
Yeah.
Except we can't say Alice and who's the other one? Bless This Mess.
And Bless This Mess, yeah. It's a La Veil Miseria.
La Veil Miseria, the Sound BHD. Blood is not active anymore. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I feel old.
I got a suggestion, Scarlet Valse.
Ooh, yeah, Scarlet Valse. Bands that wear black and sound goth.
There's so few of them. That's depressing, man.
It's because everyone's metalcore right now. There is a lack of goth. Kamijo is going to carry it, I hope.
Well, that's the symphonic side. Do we want to just kind of transition into the symphonic side?
Man, I don't even know. The purely goth side, there's so few. Cozy, but he does the electronic part of it. The goth metal part of it. Damn. I think that's it.
Sad thoughts.
Such sad. Wow. My heart.
Man, I don't know what to do. Was there like a more prominent Gothic scene back before? Because before it was metalcore, yes. It was like the electronic stuff, and then before the electronic stuff, it was like Osharike.
And before Osharike, it was the goth stuff.
Oh.
Everything is a response to something else. Because Osharike came to be as it was so colorful because of the Gothic scene. Think about that, because that's all black. And somebody came in and said, "Yo, we need to change that. Fuck that. It's all rainbows." And somebody, what was after Osharike? All the electronic stuff, right? Yeah. I think it was something else.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was regular rock music, and then it was the electronic stuff, and then that's when Alice 9 was flexing their muscles. And
the Gazette was the Gazette was doing the Gazette, but like it wasn't like drastically influencing the scene like how it started to. Like they were still.
Gothic music was super popular like in the early 2000s and really late 90s.
Man, it was when the Gazette and Duran Gray started taking like drastic changes, and that just had like such massive influence on the scene all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like Dumb Sparrow with Duran Gray and Toxic with the Gazette was when it started, and then Division solidified it. Like the Toxic and Division together, I guess. But
it's like in the 2010s. Yeah, talking about early thousands.
Oh, early thousands?
Early thousands is when goth was popular. Like I'm talking about when Malice Miser was still around.
Oh, I was talking about the regular degular rock part.
Regular degular rock. Yeah, that came in like 2008.
That was Dim Era Gazette, Ouroboros era, Duran Gray kind of thing.
Whenever Flower from Gact came out, that's when regular degular rock was it. That's all.
Okay, so then basically it was like right at the cusp of
2009.
It was right before Neo Visual K blew up then. So
yep.
So did Neo Visual K kill the Gothic side?
No, Osharike killed the Gothic side slowly. It started to kill it, and then it just went away from there.
All right, guys, I guess pray to the goth gods, pray to the Dark Lord.
Pray to the goth metal gods, because when you go into symphonic rock, it's a little easier to start like picking out who's a goth. Symphonic, well, goth specifically is hard, but symphonic metal is easier to figure out who's who.
Yeah, let's talk about symphonic metal. I want to do a small tangent first of all, and this is a criticism of something in the West, so I think I'm pretty safe to unload here for a second. I'm really irritated by the Western music industry's inability to properly classify certain musical genres in the metal scene. I found a lot of these from coming up with different examples for different types of genres from our crash course in Visual K article because I was researching like the exact definitions of genres. And like for starters, like, you know, like large, like common knowledge websites like Wikipedia right off the bat are screwing up because they're considering metal and heavy metal the same thing. I won't even get into like that. But so symphonic rock basically doesn't exist in the West. Symphonic metal does exist, but it's constantly lumped into progressive metal. So that if you're like, what's the top 10 symphonic metal bands, for example, it'll just give you the top 10 progressive metal bands. And if you aren't familiar with progressive metal is what you would usually consider progressive metal is like, it's influenced by like the complexities of more classical music, and it's like all kinds of crazy technical stuff. Like technical gent is a type of progressive metal, and you know, irregular rhythms and just kind of unique stuff. Shola Aurora's music is pretty influenced by progressive rock and progressive metal. If you want like a good example, it's deep and it's experimental and it's irregular basically, but like the leading bands that come to mind when you say progressive metal sound nothing like symphonic metal. So it's ridiculous. Like it's like Periphery, which is like a gent / metalcore band, and they have zero atmosphere in their music. It's all about crazy gent technical stuff. Or then Animals as Leaders, who does have an atmosphere, but again, it's all crazy technical stuff. It's nothing.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So with that out of the way, I just need somewhere to vent that, and you guys just became my therapy session for a second.
Jeff's therapy session for venting about why music isn't what you think it is.
Yeah, so the context, I guess, is that would provide is that we're basically kind of making up our own rules when it comes to symphonic metal for Visual Kei for Japan, because as far as I've seen, Japan has done a better job defining symphonic metal than anywhere else in the world. So I guess it can just kind of be whatever it wants to be at this point. So yeah, let's talk about symphonic metal. Let's get the big one out of the way with the Kamijo. Just put out his new album.
Vampire Rockstar, right?
Yeah, Vampire Rockstar. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting review to write. I started outlining it.
Sang is great on Sang.
Yeah, so Kamijo put out his Sang album, and I'll go ahead and leak the buzz phrase here. For anybody still watching, it's basically what we came up with, and credit to Shane for helping me flesh this out, is the kind of music that he makes is called symphonic popcore.
Symphonic popcore.
Yeah, that's and you know, just like the first impulsive like thing that pops into your mind, it's that. So you know, like for better or for worse, it's that. Basically, it's really well produced, and at the same time, it's less complex than like some of his past work. Definitely less complex than Versailles, but also less complex than some of his stuff on Heart, or which was his last full album, or like Symphony of the Vampire, which was like the mini album he put out. I think that's still my favorite release by him, just because everything flowed so well. But yeah, it's less complex but better produced and more diverse musically, I guess. So this is basically two things are going to come out of this, as you might already be able to tell, viewers, is it's going to be more palatable to more people, like more digestible, and it's going to piss off a lot of fans, in my opinion. Because he has figured out how to produce it well enough that like the oppressive nature of the metal side of symphonic metal that does turn off people who are more mainstream music listeners doesn't really affect them compared to like his previous music. And like this is an album I can show my parents, you know, who like church music and, you know, softer stuff, like especially my mom, and you know, they're pretty okay with it. Like my mom was super into Mademoiselle, for example, and you know, even something like Nosferatu is not like a problem. And but it's for like longtime fans, like I'm already seeing it, like it's not enough, you know, for people that are used to like musically digesting stuff like Masquerade or Philia by Versailles, and that's like kind of the standard that, you know, Kamijo set for himself when he like kind of continued that overall style and sound, even though he went solo. it might not be enough. So let us know if you've listened to the album in the chat, guys. Winona, did you want to give like your general impressions on it? Were you able to get through it?
On Sang?
Yeah.
No.
No.
As
in you got bored and
no. As in like I got to hear it once, but then I didn't have the time to hear it as thoroughly as I wanted to really give my my deep thoughts on it. Aside from Sang and Sang are all great songs. And Vampire Rockstar is gonna be the most memeable song, unfortunately, on that. It stood out. That song stood out a lot. I don't even know why. Like, I was listening to the album, like I remember specifically listening to this album, the one when I did the one through, and then Vampire Rockstar started to play, and I was like, what is this? Like that was when I was just like, what happened to Kami Joe? And I had to click and see what the name of the song was. And I was like, wow, he's really saying Vampire Rockstar in the song. Like, you know, I respect Kami Joe. I love his music, but wow, this is a different direction.
Hey man, that's
it's a great album. Just that one track really threw me off. I was like, wow. Like, Estrada was good to me.
He's just following the rules outlined in The Secret.
Acting.
No, in The Secret. the self-help book, The Secret. You need to visualize what you want to become. And if you think it and say it and wish it over and over, in some cases you need to say it. You need to make an affirmative statement. Vampire Rockstar, Vampire Rockstar, Vampire Rockstar.
I think what he's doing, I think what he's doing right now is he really already was a vampire rock star, but I don't think anybody would have called him a vampire rock star. I think it would have been more like he's an aristocrat, something not rock star. Honestly, something not that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rockstar doesn't flow well with vampire. I don't think it makes me think of, oh man, you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of Lestat in Queen of the Damned, because he went on to have a band, right? Yeah. And he was actually a vampire rock star. And I feel like that follows that storyline way more, but that's not the storyline Kami Joe ended up setting up for himself as a solo artist at all. So I'm just like, where did this come from? What is this? It's like,
I honestly don't don't mind Vampire Rockstar.
I don't mind it either. It just threw me off. I was like, whoa.
However, I am not a like a hardcore Kami Joe fan, and I've kind of held myself to that, you know, to not get too into it, because I kind of like reviewing his stuff and Jupiter's stuff from like a more casual perspective, especially Kami Joe stuff, because well, it's not even just objective, it's like detached, like, because it's pretty easy to tell, especially now with the Hatsune Miku collab, he's aiming for mainstream. So if I'm going to review it, you know, I can review it. I know enough about, you know, fans of Kami Joe, fans of Versailles, to write in my review like what, and tell them what they will and won't like. But I also do want to talk about what will and won't be accepted by like a more mainstream audience. It's kind of a Miyavi situation, you know, where it's like, you know, it's like you can if you review Miyavi like from a rock perspective, like, you know,
that's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. It's starting to get that way with Kami Joe.
I don't think it is. I think it's actually getting to be a good idea to review him from a rock perspective rather than from a symphonic metal perspective.
Oh no, yeah. This version.
That's what you meant.
This version would have been. Well, I would still do it from a. I would still almost do it from a pop perspective. Because what do you call Mademoiselle? That's not rock.
I think Kami Joe is about as pop as Gact is, in the sense that like Kami Joe's trying to be an idol, but his music isn't quite what anybody would really think of as pop yet. Gact is kind of on that same level, but they're not the same person, obviously. Like they're not exactly the same, but like that idea. of being a popular solo rock artist is similar. So that's all I can think of.
This is quite.
It's really hard to word that.
This is quite the different conversation to have compared to like if I don't know, Moi-même-Moitié was putting something out. You know, I'm sure. Like I'm really sympathizing now that I've like heard their music and stuff. That it's like I'm sure fans, you know, of like old school symphonic metal, like in Visual K, are probably hurting way more than I thought they were. My hair is completely out of control. But yeah, this is just like turning to a depressing like stream, man. Like I didn't realize it was like this bad, like not this bad, but like this starved until I got into it.
Of Gothic music.
Yeah, for Gothic music, for symphonic music, you know,
feeds your dark soul. That's all you need. It feeds your dark soul. It's all you need.
What is that?
Gothic music feeding your dark soul.
Oh,
what is your dark soul?
Feeding your dark soul.
Let's move on. Jeff doesn't know what his dark soul is. He does not have a dark soul.
No, I need to. Y'all have to link me to that Vampire Freaks post that explains that. So.
Oh my God.
Any other symphonic stuff? Match-in Opera we've already covered in the past is like kind of in a rough spot. Hopefully they bounce back. I do want to push a band that's not necessarily Visual K, but I think would be a good influence for Visual K artists. And that is Unlucky Morpheus. If you guys aren't familiar with them, you should definitely check them out. They completely were not on my radar, but apparently they've been a well-established band that's been around for many years. And they just started putting out like singles with PVs and stuff like that. They had this song called Black Pentagram that blew up on YouTube last year. And it's just like they kind of have a pseudo Visual K, like pseudo Gothic, basically symphonic, you know, metal sound, kind of on the power metal-y side. They have a violinist. They have some badass guitarists. The female singer has the strongest, like, you know, female voice I've heard in a metal band in a long time. Like it's fantastic. And they just put out like a new single, and and they put up like a fun PV, which was interesting, you know, for like a symphonic metal band where they're all like using each other's instruments and stuff and goofing around. But the song itself is phenomenal, and there's a violin duet with an electric guitar in it, and it's like it's bringing back memories, man, of like Match-in Opera, like the, you know, like Galnerius, you know, not necessarily, yeah, a little bit of Versailles. They're a little bit, their music has a bit more of an edge than Versailles does. Like Versailles is kind of more graceful, and theirs is a little bit more ominous, or like kind of making a more ominous statement, more powerful statement, you know, more aggressive statement. Really solid band. And like, you know, a lot of the band members in it do dress kind of Visual K. Like the guitarist has like the rookie stripes, like the vertical stripes on his neck, the little triangles, and stuff like that. So they're Visual K adjacent, maybe. But, huh?
Like how those are known as rookie stripes hereafter.
I mean, that's how I refer to them. People can act like all these new bands that they just happen to adopt it, and that was it's like, all right, dude, all right. But yeah, outside of that, Jupiter, we'll see where Zen goes with his solo project. Man, I guess I guess the homework assignment is to keep an eye out for all of us, is to keep an eye out for, you know, new artists that can help perpetuate and maybe like keep the legacy of Gothic and symphonic metal alive until Moi-même-Moitié makes another album.
Support all the goth bands that come up from hereafter.
yeah, support goth Visual K bands. You know, it's like support indie artists is like a given in the Visual K scene, but now we got to get like drill down, get specific. Support goth bands. You know,
all the music that's been coming out right now is very emo-esque. I don't know how else to put it based on those lyrics. Yeah, like wrist katoshite from Gossip and Kizuato or Scar from Kizu. Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna see that goth band come up, fam.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I really don't know. Like, that's the thing, is if we see a goth band, it's not going to be a symphonic metal band. We're going to see more goth. It's not going to be, it's going to be all metal.
It doesn't have to be a symphonic metal band. Oh, you're right. We want a goth metal band.
And really, gothic metal is kind of, that's the other place that symphonic metal gets roped into in Western music, is into gothic metal. Like I found people pointing to Nightwish as an example for both gothic metal and symphonic metal, and it was like the #1 example. So listening to Vampire Rockstar now, the lyrics are really funny. Yeah, that's the other thing, is the most of the albums in English. I won't give away my opinions on that. I'm going to save it for my review. We'll probably do a review roundup stream, at some point, because we're about to crank out a bunch of reviews for releases that came out in March. But
so many reviews.
Do you want to let's jump into like the electronic stuff real quick, like the cozy stuff, and then we can wrap this up, because we've been going for a bit. I know you've been out.
It's been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. Let me just look up cozy right quick. Let me just see.
Yeah, go for it.
All these things, because there's like the whole community is really connected, is all I can say.
Yeah.
There it is. I knew I was going to create this website.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh no, I put in his website and it was like, that website doesn't exist. I was like, no, it exists.
Was Schwartzstein kind of the?
Schwartzstein was Kaya's debut.
Yeah, but wasn't that kind of like is that kind of in the type of sound and look?
Yes, okay. It is. It's in the type of sound and look. Yeah. But
they're disbanding, right?
No, they're around. They came back from a 10-year hiatus. Okay, so maybe I take back what I said about Malice Misery, because there's hope for an indefinite hiatus.
Oh, okay, there it is. There it is.
I just thought about that. I didn't even think about it earlier. Yeah, so Schwartzstein went on a hiatus in 2004, came out of hiatus to have a U.S. debut. Well, they came out of hiatus and went on to have their U.S. debut later that year at Anime USA in 2014. So there's hope. Maybe when it's the 20th year anniversary of hiatus, Malice Misery's gonna make a miraculous comeback, and we won't know what to do with ourselves.
Yeah, I must have been getting them mixed up with somebody else. Sorry, viewers. Didn't mean to scare you for a second there.
They're just like, what?
They just put out a best album.
Femme Fatale had disbanded.
Yeah,
so,
that's probably it.
Yeah, the other band that Kaya was in.
I think it was because I read Femme Fatale, and then I also saw that Schwartzstein had put out the best album, and that's sometimes something that bands do right before they disband. So I was like, uh-oh.
No. Don't say that. No, I know you're right, but don't say that. They usually announce that they're, oh man, damn it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because I was like, my brain did this dumb thing where it cut out the band that's disbanding and put it underneath the band that had the best album. It was like, this band is disbanding and they have a best album. It's like, no, Jeff, no, you need sleep. Your brain is wrong. Your brain is all
Not
wrong.
all bands do that. Some bands just release the best album because they have a lot of fans. You know what I'm saying? Does that put out 2 best albums? Are they disbanding? No, they can't. They're not allowed to.
Schwartz-Kane is disbanding.
Schwartz-Kane is disbanding. I think that's what it was.
Asuka really liked them.
Yeah, so Cozy had a bunch of them. He has Ziz. Ziz has Charge, and somebody else, somebody who constantly mixes their music, and he has Zava, And Eve of Destiny, I don't think Eve of Destiny is active anymore. I think they are also on an indefinite hiatus. He was in E plus Z. Dale, I think Dale is still active, right? And Vamket. Yeah. And Jiro was in this is. That's only a few. That's only a few that I can name that are connected to us right now. You could also consider Yutaka Aoki, who had passed away. He's Gothic. I don't know where to put him, but he had produced amazing Gothic music in his solo work, his album Lost in Forest. I guess it would go into the electronic aspect of it. It's this interesting mix. It's very avant-garde electronic music, because he has his guitar and it's very distinctly there. And Mori is singing over some of it, and you have Kaoru in one of the songs, and Sigzo's violin is in one of the songs. Yeah, it's just interesting to hear. I'm trying to think, but who else would there be?
Yeah, it's so neat, so niche, you know.
So niche. I mean, I can't say this, but like, this is somebody who is a very hard advocate for Gothic music. I can't say that they were Gothic. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna give the advocate first before I go back to who is actually. DJ Season was a huge advocate for Gothic music. I don't know if he's still active.
Yeah, what's going on with
huge
that?
Advocate. I don't know.
You know what? I might have seen a friend of mine who's in Japan tweet out a picture with her in Season.
Really?
It looked like him.
Yeah, he's
around.
I don't know what he's doing, honestly. Last I saw, which was a long time ago, when I last saw him, like when I last spoke to him, he was in Germany. So yeah, it's been a minute. Yugami Hakase, that's who I was thinking of. That's who mixes a lot of Ziz's music. And then there's Velvet Eden. I don't know how people feel about Velvet Eden. I just know that I don't know if they're around or not, because they've announced disbandment so many times, but then the next day, you know, Dada says Velvet Eden forever, and then they don't disband. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, it is Season. So he's around.
Season's alive. Good to know. Yeah, I guess Femket's a new band. Yeah.
I mean, you know, if like
Dolly's
that's what's interesting about like the DJ projects or the electronic projects is it's like, you know, they may not put out stuff for a while, but for all we know, they're playing like hella shows at like, you know, clubs or whatever.
Well, from my understanding just now is that there is one Gothic punk band, and it is Dolly, and that is who Cozy is part of. Worth following.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna. This has just been very depressing. You know, I mean, it was informative for me, and then now it's like, oh, you know, hashtag pray for goth.
Pray for goth music and
pray for goth K. Yeah.
Goth K.
So yeah, I guess David's our one and only hope. That's really what it comes down to, because he's gothic and symphonic. Yeah, man.
Kamijo's kind of steering away from it.
Yeah, well, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll see if that effect trickles down. But you know, I guess David's all we got.
David's doing good though. Matinor Opera was symphonic metal. I don't know what they consider themselves black metal now, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Awesome. All right. Well, we can go ahead and wrap it up. Asuka says definitely informative. All right. Well, thanks. You know.
Thank you.
glad we got it figured out.
Our facts were a little off. Monophobia really pulled through with correcting us here and there. You know, like Deep Sanctuary was the name of the celebration that Mana's always hosting every year.
Gothic was a thing worldwide Gothic was a thing worldwide around
at the same time it was at its prime in VK. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
That's what I
sorry.
was trying to say.
Sorry,
Yeah, it was huge
yeah,
in like the
your
late
voice didn't
90s.
pick up in my for a second. My bad. Yeah. I'll have to take your guys' word for it because it's just all floral patterns and bullshit down here. Like,
It's not, Jeff. It's not floral patterns. Bullshit.
no, I'm saying in Florida.
Oh, in Florida? Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. It's down
All
here.
right. Okay. Good. Hey,
I was like making a direct attack on stream on that. No, come on, man.
On a monocentric stream.
On a monocentric. No. We keep professional here at VKH Live. I just talk crap about things that are outside of our industry.
Professional. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We keep it,
Yeah.
semi-honest on VKH Live. No, I'm kidding.
Well, while we're wrapping up, do we want to talk about so LMC is going to be at TechCon
Yes,
next
they
week,
are.
and you're going to be on the scene.
I will be on the scene.
Do we want to do a pre-show? Did I talk to you about that? I don't remember.
We didn't talk about that. A pre-show, like before a
pre-show?
concert.
No, like before you leave.
Oh, before I leave Thursday.
Yeah, so like on
I leave
Wednesday.
Thursday morning, Wednesday night.
Yeah, or Tuesday, like whichever works for you.
Wednesday night would be better.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll do a pre-show for it to cover the con. I want to set this pattern because I've seen it work in other industries, and like they always seem like fun to do, and I want to do them. So, and then we're going to do a post-concert stream.
Yes.
All things holding equal and true. Which means assuming Winona has an internet connection and nothing crazy happens.
We'll play that hard by ear because post concert is a chance that I might have to help sell merch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So we'll probably put up the pre-show article like tomorrow and like lock that in since that's easy to schedule, and then we'll just like the post-show one will just like announce a lot, and then if it doesn't happen, we'll talk about LMC some more, or you can give me some summary notes, and
I'll send Jeff my notes from the show, and he'll just tell you what he thinks I saw.
Yeah, no, you can do that. That works. That historically has worked pretty well for us.
I give detailed notes. It's not like you were there.
Yes.
It's like a live report. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, but then I'm there actually experiencing it, making more vague notes, and so it's like I'm experiencing it twice.
Yes,
it's great. It's wonderful. All right, guys, we're gonna peace out. When I was gonna go to bed, I've kind of got myself in an alert enough mood. I may just pull an all-nighter marathon some of these reviews.
Oh my god, Jeff, you need sleep. We've established this.
Yeah. But keep watching. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Follow Fake Star on Facebook and their Twitter. I'm going to put it all in right in the description once we get off
their website. Check out their clients. Follow their clients.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Kaya, Teddy Lloyd, Mana now. Other things, other people, many people, baby, the stars shine bright.
Yeah,
other people, many things.
Another thing. Tweet us if you guys want, or if you guys have any topics you want us to cover. Tell your friends about this wonderful stream, and if you have any topics that you think like a lot of people might want to be covered, we'd love to hear your feedback. What I'm saying is give us feedback, tweet us things you want to see or you more of or less of. So we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.